Let me start by asking you where you hope to get all the monies from to be able to reach some of this, to be able to do some of these things that you have stated, including paying 100,000 naira as minimum wage to workers.
This question comes up all the time from journalists. They ask, where do you get the money from? It comes from some economists, where do you get the money from? And my answer is, where do we get the money from that are stolen and exported out of this country on a daily basis? Where do you get the money from to buy $2.5 billion worth of shares from a private refinery that just opened in Lagos? Where do you get the money from to build houses that are empty in Abuja, unoccupied by politicians?
Sowore put this out on his page. He said, just hours after we proposed a living wage for Nigerian workers, the governors have reportedly responded with their own proposal of 100,000 minimum wage. These wicked governors know very well that no worker in Nigeria can live decently with 100,000 minimum wage, that's per month, in today's Nigeria. That amount can barely purchase a bag of rice. This statement is coming from Sowore. So, let alone covering house rent, transportation, healthcare, education, utilities, and even the basic necessities of life. 100,000 naira cannot solve any problem. That is what Sowore told a governor. They understand the reality of the economic hardship workers face in this country, yet they impose poverty wages while living lavishly at the public expense. Guys, they are even in panic mode. They fear that Nigerians may discover that a different path is possible, one where workers are paid real living wages. Public resources are used for the benefit of the people. Properties is shared rather than hoarded by privileged few. So, this is just coming from Sowore as the debate intensified after labor advocates and activists proposed what they describe as a living wage, that is for Nigerian workers, a wage designed to merely keep people employed, but to enable them live with dignity. This is, soon afterward, report emerged that governor was considering 100,000 naira as a new national minimum wage benchmark. For critics, the proposal is deeply disappointing. Food prices have increasingly gone up. Fuel transportation costs has risen. Rent, you cannot even see good rent right now you can afford easily. Like, these things are climbing in many cities. School fees are increasing every day. Healthcare expenses is going up. Utility bills are becoming more difficult for many families to afford. So, many workers across Nigeria says they are already struggling. A large portion of monthly income could actually help. It could help. After purchasing groceries, paying transport fees, covering rent, and even handling other necessities, little money remains for savings or emergencies. Will still be gone. So, in Nigeria, as a Nigerian worker especially, many people who do monthly work can't even save money. Education expenses, healthcare costs, unexpected financial obligations can quickly consume the entire salary. You will have nothing left for you to save. Critics still talks and argue that any discussion about minimum wage must take into account the real cost of living rather than focusing only on whatever the government can afford to pay. The governor's perspective. Supporters of governor position have pointed to this other side of the equation. State governments face financial constraints of their own. Like, many states rely heavily on federal allocations and internally generated revenue. Things and monies that are gotten in a state can fluctuate. Officials often argue that setting wages too high without considering available resources could create financial difficulties, delay salary payments, or even strain government budgets. From this perspective, the challenge is finding a balance between improving workers' welfare and even maintaining fiscal sustainability. So, economic experts note that minimum wage negotiations often involve this tension. Whenever you see salary talks like this, is always coming with promises that people may never see. Workers seek higher pay to cope with inflation. The inflation in this country is already too high. Things go up and they never come down again. How can a man who has a family cope with 100,000 naira in a week? A week, not to talk of a whole month. So from where to where? Why the government attempt to balance labor demand with budget realities? What is the fate of workers? Why this matter is looking like it's a problem? Beyond the numbers, the argument reflects a deeper questions about economic justice. So remember, what should workers expect? What the workers expect is what they think should be done for them. It's not easy to transport yourself from your house